Hello everyone. In this lecture, I'm going to explain about asynchronous data transfer. As we know that the internal operation in a digital system are synchronized by means of a clock pulses, and these clock pulses supplied by a common pulse generator. The clock pulse are applied to all register within a unit, and all data transfer among internal register occurs simultaneously during the occurrence of a clock pulse. Okay, so suppose two units such as CPU and an input-output interface are designated independently of each other. If the register in the interface share a common clock with the CPU register, the transfer between the two units is said to be synchronous. Okay, and this is called basically the synchronous example of the synchronous data transfer. And most widely, this data transfer is most widely used in basically the computer system. Asynchronous data transfer between two independent units require uh, that uh, between two units require that control signal be transmitted between the communicating unit to indicate the time at which data is being transmitted. And one way, another one way of asynchronous data transfer achieving this is by means of stop pulse supplied by one of the units to indicate to the other unit when the transfer has to occur. And another method for implement this is by using a control signal that indicate the presence of data in the bus. The unit receiving of data item respond with another control signal to acknowledge receipt of data, and this type of agreement between independent units is called basically handshaking. Okay, so these are some of the examples of synchronous and asynchronous data transfer examples. Synchronous is what basically, and asynchronous is what basically, and how can we implement and using by these two methods is drop pulse and head checking. Okay, in the next slide, we'll discuss in detail about the stop pulse or stop control operation. The stop control method of asynchronous data transfer uh, contain a single control line to time each transfer. Okay, single control line to time each transfer, and the stop may be activated by the either the source or destination unit as shown in on that particular diagram in left side. This one is a block diagram. Okay. This one is that show the as the name it is the title of this diagram is source initiated stop for data transfer. Okay. So the data bus carries the binary information from the source unit to the destination unit. This one is the source unit, and this one is the data destination unit. And bus has multiple line. This bus, as we have discussed earlier, and bus transfer, that bus have more than one lines to transfer an entire byte or word. And the stop is a signal line. This one is the signal line. Okay, single line that inform the destination unit when a valid data word is available in the bus. Okay, and uh, in below diagram, that one is this one is show the timing diagram. Basically the source unit first place the data on the data bus. Okay, after a brief delay, when a source plays the data on data bus, after some delay, from here we can see that this one is the delay. Okay, and delay to ensure that the data settled. Why it is delay? uh, this is basically to ensure to data settle basically on the data bus, and the source activate the stop pulse, and then source activate this stop pulse after some delay. Okay. The information on the data bus and stop signal remain in active state for sufficient time period to allow the destination unit to receive the data. Okay. And this one is one of the example. In right side, we have destination initiated stop for data transfer. In this case, the destination unit activate the stop pulse. Means same source and destination unit we have. Data bus is used for transfer the data from source to destination, but here it is the destination initiated, means the stop is initiated by using the destination unit. Okay. The source unit then respond by placing the requested binary information on the data bus. The data must be valid and remain in the bus long enough for the destination unit to accept it. Okay, and the timing diagram, it is show the falling age of the stop pulse. Falling age the stop pulse can be used again to trigger a destination register. Means the destination unit then disable the stop. The source remove the data from the bus after a predetermined time interval. Okay, so in many computers, the stop pulse is actually controlled by the clock pulses in the CPU, and the CPU is always in control of buses and inform the external unit to how to transfer the data. Okay, so this one is one of the example. Next, we have handshaking. The previous method, stop control method, have some disadvantages. What disadvantages may have? That the source means that we can see that the source unit that indicate the transfer has no way of knowing whether the destination unit has actually received the data item that was placed in the bus. Similarly, a destination unit that initiate the transfer has no way of knowing whether the source unit has actually placed the data on the bus. So the handshaking method solve this problem by introducing a second control signal, okay, that provide a reply to unit that initiate the transfer. And the basic principle of two-wire handshaking method, as the name implies, it's the two-way or two-wire handshaking method of data transfer. Is one control line is in same direction as the data flow in the bus from the source to destination. It is used by the source unit to inform the destination unit whether there are valid data in the bus. The other control line is in other direction from destination to source. It is used by the destination unit to inform to source whether it can accept the data. The sequence of control during the transfer depend on unit that initiate the transfer. Okay, it's just handshaking method that is used in computer network also. Okay, this one is the source initiated transfer using handshaking method. This block diagram is showing. Okay. When in data transfer procedure, when initiated by the source, the two handshaking lines are data valid, which is generated by source unit, and data accepted, okay, by the destination unit. The timing diagram show the exchange of signal. This one is the timing diagram, okay, of signal between the two unit. The sequence of unit listed uh, in that particular diagram. This one is the sequence of unit. Sequence of events, basically the four possible states. Here we are seeing that there are the different four possible states can be at any given time. Okay, the source unit initiate the transfer by placing the data on the bus and enabling it data valid signal. The data accepted signal is activated by the destination unit after it accepts the data from the bus. The source unit then disable its data valid signal, which invalidate the data on the bus. The destination unit then disable its data accepted signal and system goes into its initial state. Okay, so this one is the example of source initiated transfer using handshake. This one is this slide show the destination initiated transfer using handshake. In which the name of the signal generated by the destination unit, here we can see that, okay, and it has been changed to ready for data to reflect its new meaning. The source unit in this case does not place the data on the bus until after it receives the ready for data signal from the destination unit. Okay, so and the same timing diagram also show, and the sequence of event also showing in that particular method. So the handshaking scheme provide a high degree of flexibility and reliability because the successful completion of data transfer rely on active participation by both unit. If one unit is faulty, the data transfer will not be completed. Such an error can be detected by means of timeout mechanism which produce an alarm if data transfer is not completed within a period of predetermined time, basically. And this one is the example of an advantages of destination handshaking method. Okay, so that's all over this lecture. Thanks.